What's up, Mac Nostalgia? Dave here with a review of I Said I Love You First, the collaborative album between Selena Gomez and producer Benny Blanco. Selena back with, I guess this is her fourth, full-length album. Of course, this is a collab album. It's been a few years since the last album, Rare. Some smaller things in the interim, but of course, this album, the latest in a long line of pop albums between two lovers, of course, Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco, are engaged. And a significant release, even if that was not the case, because of course, Selena Gomez is a absolutely massive cultural force, literally the third most followed person on Instagram in the world, behind only Messi and Ronaldo. So she's the most followed American in on Instagram. I mean, it's crazy the reach she has, and she's had for quite some time. Over 10 years at this point. Massive figure who's been in the news lately. Of course, she was a supporting actress in Netflix's ill-fated Amelia Perez, and Gomez even did get some awards consideration for her performance, not from the Oscars, but from some other bodies. I was a bit surprised to look at the track list on this album and not see just Benny Blanco as the producer of the whole album. For some reason, I was just expecting this to be like a complete Benny Blanco album, but there's a lot of other producers and co-producers on all of these tracks. And when you think of producers to make a collab album with a pop star, right? I don't think Benny Blanco would have been at the top of too many people's list, just because yeah, obviously he's like a mega producer. He's a very established, successful mainstream A-list pop producer, but he doesn't have like a signature sound the way like Jack Antonoff does. Like what a Jack Antonoff album sounds like. You can't say that about a Benny Blanco album. So I was at least curious about what this would feel like and sound like. Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco's collab album, I Said I Love You First, is clearly a very intimate album. I was most struck with this album musically just because it's really a bit all over the place. You have a big play at a pop hit with Call Me When You Break Up featuring Gracie Abrams. You have Selena returning to Spanish music with Ojos Tristes. And you even have Selena doing her best Charlie XCX impression, with Charlie giving background vocals on Bluest Flame. There's also a decent amount of auto-tune on Selena's vocals that I don't think really works, and a lot of the music that doesn't immediately grab you just feels kind of baseline, kind of whatever to me. It really takes its time going up and down, and we've heard Selena do more up-tempo traditional pop music before. There's not a lot of this on this album, and I think that speaks to the introspection and the personality that was imbued in the lyrics of the album, but it's just not a record I would plan to go back to all that much. I gotta say, Call Me When You Break Up featuring Gracie Abrams, which came out as a single about a month ago. I think that song's really good. It's already, brewing as a hit. Gracie Abrams, of course, is on a heater right now after a massive 2024. That's So True, over 800 million streams on Spotify in like 6 months. She's really rapidly rising. And I think that song's really cool because I think Selena's definitely up to the challenge. And then when Gracie pops in with the feature, her natural singing voice is a bit more edge, a bit more kind of rasp and like vocal fry in the way she sings over that tempo. I think it's a great collab. Ojos Tristes, which is the first Spanish song on the record, kind of gives me vibes that Selena did on that Spanish EP Revelacion relatively recently, and like actually like song structure wise and performance wise, it's kind of like Kali Uchis. I think you just probably rather listen to a Kali Uchi song than listen to that though. Don't Want to Cry, I think, is one of the highlights. Up-tempo snares and kick drum sound really good. I think Selena's just better when the music is more lively overall, just because she's not like a flashy singer or anything like that. So I think good production is really important for her music. And that song's cool because it has like, kind of has this like disco dance break with these strings. I like the production overall. Sunset Boulevard, this one's another up-tempo one. I think lyrically, I really like the message and the storytelling of the song, but I just did not really care for the auto-tune on Selena's vocals. I thought it was just a bad choice. I don't think it sounds good. Cowboy's a funny one because it's clearly a sex jam lyrically, but it still comes across as a very soft song, a bit strange. And then Bluest Flame, man. Bluest Flame really took me for a loop because immediately I hear it, I'm like, wow, this song's just biting Charlie XCX. This is like Selena's attempt at doing post Brat, kind of more traditional Charlie. Like it wasn't really Brat Charlie. It was more like kind of like Party for You Charlie, to be honest. with the auto-tune, with the hyper pop. You had Dylan Brady of 100 Gex as a co-producer on the track. And then I like looked into it more and said, actually, no, Charlie's actually doing background vocals on the track, funny enough. So clearly that's what Selena was going for. And I think the fact that Charlie was involved makes me accept the song more, because when I first heard it, I was like, oh, wow, this is like cravenly biting someone who had a great year last year. And obviously Selena doesn't need to do that. She's so successful. So it makes a lot more sense that actually, no, this is a light collab with Charlie instead. How does it feel to be forgotten? This is one of the songs that we talked about in the tabloids. Enough said. I can't get enough. I like Selena's energy vocally on the song, but man, collabing with J Balvin, I mean, that's just so lame at this point. She could do so much better. And yeah, just pretty lackluster. So yeah, like I think some of the songs are interesting. Again, I don't think Benny Blanco makes much of an impression, which is what I expected going in. Selena has talked about, trying to do other things with her career, and she's very grateful of the massive platform she has at this point. And yeah, it seems like music is now just part of what she does, not the main thing she does. And I think it makes a lot of sense, honestly. So it sounds like it'll be a bit more of a wait before we get more music from her. I'll be curious to see how much more acting she does. She hasn't done a whole lot of like serious adult acting, to be honest. I mean, apart from Amelia Paris and Spring Breakers a while back, I mean, there hasn't been too much, right? But obviously, she has an acting background growing up, so would not be shocked to see more of that. But let me know, what'd you think of Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco's collab album? I Said I Love You First. What was your favorite song? Let me know. And for more music reviews, subscribe. And I'll see you next time.